جدای آمد و منزل دوتا شد ره دلبر ز راه من جدا شد همین دانم که آتش مانده و من نمیدانم که آیا کجا شد نمیدانم که آیا کجا شد جدایی های جدایی های جدایی.
I started the project in August 2021. That was when Afghanistan as a country collapsed in the hand of Taliban. And I was living in Afghanistan in that time. Then when the collapse happened, I was still inside the country. I was evacuated on August 19th, about 3 days after the collapse. I came to Poland in a refugee camp. We were placed in a camp where it was not equipped because Poland is not receiving a lot of refugees. They usually don't have the facilities to receive more refugees. So they had this UNHCR center in Poland that was not equipped very well, and we were put there and we were in quarantine for 10 days. After 10 days, I noticed that nobody was feeling good. And we refugees and the refugee camp wanted a space to talk. And I had to knock doors and talk to people. Men, it was extremely hard for them, Afghan men, to talk to me because I had more Western outfit and I didn't have a scarf on, and it was extremely challenging for them to accept me as someone who they would share. And I contacted my thesis advisor in Columbia University in New York, and I told him that I would like to do a story collection. People would like to talk. I don't know what direction it's going to go, but I would like to open a space for people to come together in grief. We are not taught in our culture. We are not taught to grieve. We think that grieving and crying and being upset is bad. I started through refugee rooms where women were placed, families were placed. And I started the conversation with the women in those rooms first. I just wanted to see how they were feeling. So the project was based on those 4 specific questions. The first one was about what is a memory you remember from your homeland or your town or your house in Afghanistan? And the second one was how the moment was like when you decided to leave the country. How did you decide that? Who helped you to decide your home, your town, your life, your family, everybody? And the third one was more as an oral history question. I'm not an oral historian, and I have not been trained to collect oral history. However, I asked that question because that was a personal question and important. And I asked, what was a single item you wanted to bring with you or you brought with you, and why? What is your feeling, your relationship with that item? I mean, the reason I asked the third question was because I noticed that people had brought with them some objects. And it started from a stone to a jewelry to a book, or some people brought Afghanistan's flag, the flag that they grew up with in the country. And to me, in the methodology, I thought it was really important to ask this question to see if people actually brought things. But some people brought their computers and their memories because they said they had a lot of photos from back home. And some people brought flash drives to make sure that they have all their memories, anything they recorded stayed in those storages. And I asked everyone, I have more than 230 stories now. I asked everyone the last question as, if you would send a message to your grandchildren, especially from women to your granddaughters, what would that message be? How would that message look like? What is the most important thing that you'd like to tell someone who is really young right, who didn't know about what happened 30 years from now, is listening to your story. What is that last message you leave them with that voice, with that code, something that's coming from you? It was amazing. Most of them were advices that they gave. They said, if my grandchild is going to listen to my story, this is what happened to my life. Can you take this as a lesson learned from your grandparents? This is what we went through. Take this as a lesson. And this is A, B, C, and D. Can you do these 3 things for the country? That's what we would like you to do. And to me, the whole process of collection, I think, was very emotional. And I knocked so many doors, and I shared so many times of these stories that I never heard from anyone from the country. And I think the reason these refugee places were really important was that we were sharing the same experience. And it was really easy for the refugees to talk to me because they thought that I lost the country. And I feel that what it means to lose a country and to lose your life, the life that you invested for years, right? The whole machine is stopping and everything is collapsing, and you really don't know how to put yourself together. That process needed time.
Badun bole dile tangom cherai ke azhar soin shahre shikasta tume aaye.
J'ai terminé mes études secondaires à l'école et j'ai commencé une université et après terminer ma université, j'ai commencé à travailler. Pendant des années, j'observais beaucoup de choses qui s'est passées en Afghanistan. Il y avait des gens patientés qui voulaient un changement social. Et il y avait des femmes qui se battaient pour leurs droits. À Kaboul, en Afghanistan, j'ai un café culturel qui c'était un endroit pour les femmes, les gens, les artistes et avec l'arrivée des Talibans, mon café était fermé parce que il n'y a pas droit pour les femmes pour travailler. Et avec l'arrivée des Talibans, j'ai fermé mon café et j'ai dit au revoir à ma mère. Mon père n'a pas dit au revoir parce qu'il pense que je reviendrai. Mais c'est le dernier moment que je vois mes parents. J'ai mis toutes mes affaires dans un petit sac à dos et je suis rentrée à l'ambassade en France. Là-bas, j'ai resté quelques jours, je pensais 5 jours. Mais il y avait beaucoup de problèmes autour de l'aéroport de Kaboul parce qu'il y a beaucoup de gens qui voulaient rentrer dans l'aéroport de Kaboul pour sortir l'Afghanistan. Le jour où j'ai quitté mon pays, j'ai un double sentiment. Libération et tristesse. Tristesse parce que j'ai quitté mon pays, ma famille et mes amis, et la joie de la liberté. La vie sous le régime des Talibans, pour moi, toujours, c'était un cauchemar. Ce qui fait très pauvre, bien sûr. Il est difficile d'habiter dans un pays qui n'y a pas aucun droit. Je pensais comme vous vivez dans une prison. Dans l'Afghanistan, il n'y a pas aucun droit pour les femmes. Les journalistes et les militants, ils sont dans la prison et les filles afghanes n'ont pas droit d'aller à l'école. Et les femmes n'ont pas droit de travailler. Et là-bas, la vie c'était très difficile sous un régime extrémiste et anti-femme. La vie c'est très difficile.
We left Afghanistan in 2021, September 2021, when Taliban took over Afghanistan. It is the biggest bad memory in my life. Sorry. Every time I want to talk about this, I cry. I can't stop. And this is why I stopped talking about this, because I have passed a very, very bad time. The day before Taliban take the country, I was in Parwan. So we was living in Parwan. Me and my sister, we decided to go to Kabul for a few days to just spend time with our cousins and aunties. We didn't know that what will happen. It was just going for a visit. So I remember that I took some of my clothes, and I remember this, that I said to my sister, is it enough for a few days? Because I will come back. I don't need too much stuff with me. She said, yes, it's enough. We left the room, we left the home, the house. We went to Kabul. When we was in Kabul, the situation got bad. My family was in Parwan. They called us that don't come back to Parwan. We will come to you, stay there, because Kabul is safe. Because it's the capital. If Taliban take the province, they will not be able to take the Kabul so fast, and it's not possible. So we stayed in Kabul, and after my family also came to Kabul. And one day, boom, what happened? Taliban came. A terrorist group that everyone knows. They killed more than 1,000 people in my country. They know what they did with us and everything. They came so easily. They took everything, and after a country, a beautiful country with all the work that we had, we achieved, like all women, the government, the people of Afghanistan achieved lots of things, lots of work and goals in past 20 years. Afghanistan was becoming a country that democracy was implemented recently there. So Afghanistan and Kabul became like a jail, a prison for me. And the day they told me that Taliban is here, I said, okay, Sara, you're done. Everything is finished, because I just finished my school. It was the year I was waiting for my concours results. I passed the concours, and I was waiting for a good future for myself. I had plans. I wanted to go to university and this. So we decided to leave the country, because Afghanistan, my home, was not my home anymore. I was not allowed to live in my home anymore. I was not allowed to go out. I was not allowed to study. I was not allowed to talk. And that day I started being silent. And we left Afghanistan, we left Kabul. I said, everything is finished, Sara. Everything is finished. You can't do anything. Now you have to go, in any country you go, you have to start from zero. Is it possible to be in this position or not? Like, it's not possible. So even I went to Pakistan, and after when I arrived in France, I had the same feeling. Imagine you're coming to the best country that you was dreaming for, France. I got accepted in French literature because I liked French. I wanted to come to France one day. It was my dream. And that day in airport, I remember I didn't have any feeling. Everything was great, and maybe there was a lots of girls in my home country that they wish that they was in my place, but I was like, no feeling. I was like a dead body that they are just moving her around the city. That's it. This is what I was feeling that day.
Comme j'ai dit déjà que je travaillais dans une radio locale aussi, et cette radio c'était à nous. C'était notre radio en Parwan, que ma mère elle était chef de radio, elle avait créé cette radio. Cette radio, elle travaillait que pour les femmes, pour le droit des femmes. Et c'était à cause de ça que notre objectif, c'était que pour le droit des femmes. Les Talibans, ils nous envoyaient une lettre, un warning letter, que vous devez arrêter votre émission et tout ça, sinon ça sera très dangereux pour toutes les équipes de cette radio. Et après, on a encore continué, mais à la fin, ça est devenu encore très, très pire pour nous, pour notre équipe. Donc, on était obligé de fermer cette radio. On a fermé cette radio parce que après colonisation des talibans, on a vu que l'Afghanistan, c'est devenu comme une pression pour tout, spécialement pour ma mère, pour mes sœurs et pour moi aussi. Donc, on n'a pas vu un autre choix, on n'a pas vu un autre futur en Afghanistan. Ma mère, elle a dit que qu'est-ce qu'on va faire? J'ai dit on va partir. Mais elle a dit où? J'ai dit comme les autres, les plus proches pays, c'est Pakistan. On va aller au Pakistan. Si un jour je dois travailler comme un... J'avais perdu mon personnalité et je dois commencer de travailler dans la route, dans quelque chose d'autre différent. J'ai dit, je vais travailler en Pakistan, mais je n'ai pas envie qu'on reste dans la contrôle des talibans. Je veux être libre. Si ça sera Pakistan, si ça sera un travail très très difficile, je veux travailler. Mais je ne veux pas que quelqu'un d'autre, un groupe touriste, il me contrôle. Il prend mon liberté. Je veux être libre, je préfère être libre. C'est pour ça que ma mère, elle a toujours plus de potentiel énergie que moi. Et elle a eu la même idée. Et donc, mon père, ma grande sœur, moi, et tout ensemble, on a pris cette décision de partir. Ce garçon-là, il s'appelait Seyar, il est parti de l'Afghanistan. Quand il est venu en France, il a dit qu'il faut recommencer par zéro. Donc, il faut démarrer encore et avec plein de passion. Parce que j'avais déjà fait un nait pour moi-même. J'avais fini mes études, j'avais eu un travail, j'étais en train de faire mariage, tout ça. Mais tout c'est fini et je dois recommencer, c'était obligé. Donc j'ai dit pour moi-même, Seyar, il faut être patient et être cool, donc commence encore. Et heureusement que je recommençais. Et j'ai bien réussi. Jusqu'à maintenant, il y a 2 ans que je suis en France, j'ai bien réussi de prendre mon diplôme de DELF B1 en langue française, que c'est pas facile, les gens qui l'apprennent en français, et ils savent que je dis quoi. En même temps, j'ai passé mon examen de code de la route, et c'est bien passé aussi, j'ai bien réussi. Et tous mes projets, ça déroule un peu lentement, mais ça roule très bien pour moi.
When the collapse happened, it was deep. It was hard. And as a human being, when you don't have hope in your heart, I think there is nothing in life that can push you to live. As a human being, if you don't have an energy that convinces you to get up in the morning and do something that's meaningful, I think life becomes useless. And especially if you fought for that life so hard, if you fought to learn all those skills and put, stones together to build a house. When you're building that house, somebody is going to take that away from you and by force, and you don't have any power over it. And there is nothing that can help you in that hopeless moment. The collapse of the country, for me, was heavy. And there are thousands of other stories around the world that are sharing the same feeling. This time, 2 years past now, I think how I feel it, there is nothing that can satisfy me now. I get up in the morning, I feel like my whole every day became the same, and there is nothing that can pushes me to go forward. And I also feel that there is a hole in my heart that doesn't matter how hard I work, that hole doesn't get filled with anything. And now I'm looking at child marriage, losing my father, losing a country, and running as a crazy person around the world to find a pleasure to live is a very bizarre process to go through. And I don't think I'm alone. I think it doesn't matter how old you are, maybe not for the young generation, but maybe for the older generation and my generation. I don't know how we can bear with that process. And I don't know if we will ever get the opportunity to go, help your country. I don't know if we can do anything to help ourselves to stay motivated. Being hopeless is disastrous for a human being.
Shahre shikasta, tumhe aaye, tumhe aaye, tumhe aaye. Judai, 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 judai.